To my fellow classmate and to you, Ma'am Shane, our instructor, a blissful morning to all of us. My name is Almaraki Pangawilan and I am the one of reporter of Group A. And now we're going to tackle about the history of international environmental policies, treaties, convention, and etc. So from this topic, pag-uusapan natin yung mga agreements, mga conference, mga protocol, no? Mga policies from what I said. Mga policies tungkol sa environment natin, sa biodiversity sa global environment, no? So, um, Introduction to International Environmental Policies. So, itong International Environmental Policies is nag-aim siya para maprotektahan ang global environment natin pa, from harmful human and activities. From harmful human activities to. And itong nag-promote din siya ng sustainable development. So these policies is involve agreements, conventions, and frameworks though that govern how nation manage their natural resources and address transboundary environmental issue. Ibig sabihin, itong policies na to is hindi lang siya policies na tayo-tayo lang, by isang lugar lang, kundi may agreement siya, nation to nation, no? Dumaan siya sa mahabang process para magkaroon ng agreement. So, itong international, pag namin kasi natin international, nation to nation na yan, di ba? So, overview of international environmental policies. Environmental policies have evolved significantly over the past few decades, no? So, driven by the needs to address global environmental challenges katulad ng mga climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollutions. So, these policies are often formalized through treaties and conventions. So, gaya nga nasabi ko kanina, from what I said before is, dumadaan muna siya sa mga treaties or mga agreements, no? Pino-formalize muna. So, pino-formalize muna itong mga environmental through treaties and convention through agreements. So, ano bang treaty? So, this is the legally binding agreement. It creates the right and obligation between international legal persons. So, dito na tayo sa International Environmental Law. So, International Environmental Law is the study of global environmental issue. So, ang environmental debates are founded on international law principles as well as a plethora of international treaties on declarations. So, sa International Environmental natin, tatlo tayong importance conference na may significant impact, no? So, ang una is United Nations Conference on Human Environment. Ito yung taong 1972. Pangalawa is United Nations Conference on Environmental and Development, 1992. And the World Summit on Sustainable Development, 2002. These three is all had significant impact, no? So now, pag-uusapan natin ng Stockholm Conference. Stockholm Conference, 1972. Ang Stockholm Conference is the first World Conference to make the environmental a measure from 15 to 16 of June. And United Nations Conference on the Human Environment, one of the major results of the Stockholm Conference was the creation of the United Nations Environment Program, or UNEP. So, ang Stockholm Declaration of Magna Carta of Environment Protection and its Development. So, ang pangalawa is ang Rio Earth Summit Conference, 1992. Ang Rio Conference was held 20 years after the first international conference, no, on environmental issue at Stockholm. So, Ang main objective of this Rio Earth Summits or ang Rio Summits, ang Rio Conference was to stop environmental degradation of the planet. So yun yung objective nito. So following the Stockholm Conference, UN, the year of 1893, set up a Commission on Environmental and Development led by what? Led by Brundtland from Norway. So, this results in the concept of sustainable development. So, this is defined as the development which meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Yes, alright. And now we have Johannesburg Treaty. The World Summit on Sustainable Development was held at Johannesburg sa South Africa hanggang August 26 to September 4, 2002. The United Nations convened the summit to discuss sustainable development. Yes. The summit brought together several leaders from business and non-governmental organizations. Naheld siya 10 years after the first Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. So, ang goal of WSSD was to hold a 10 years review of 1992, yung UNCED, to reinvigorate global commitment to sustainable development. It was therefore also informally nicknamed Rio Plus 10. So sa Vienna Convention naman tayo. Itong Vienna Convention, ito na yung convention na nagpo-protect sa ating ozone layer. In the Vienna Conference 1985, the Vienna Convention for the Protection of the Ozone Layer was agreed upon. It is a multilateral environmental agreement and came into force in 1988. No, it is the one of the successful environmental treaties ratified by 197 states as well as the European Union. So, ang main objectives ng Vienna Convention is where to facilitate cooperation by research and information, actions of effect of human activities sa ozone layer natin. It also, nag-aim din siya to adapt legislative or administrative measured against activities, no? Katulad ng to have adverse effect on the ozone layer. It is the basis for international effort to save the ozone layer. And that's all my report. And sa sunod na reporter is pag-uusapan yung mga activities and programs na meron sa ating environment, international environment. Once again, my name is Almera K. Pangawilan from Group 8 Reporter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Our topic for today is all about international environment and policies, treaties, and convention. Okay, ano nga ba ang international environmental? Okay, ito ay mga kasunduan o batas o alitunturin na pinagtibay ng mga bansa upang pagtulungan sa pagprotekta at pag-aalaga ng bansa o kapaligiran. Ito ay nakatutuan sa mga isyu tulad ng pagbabago ng klima, polusyon, pangangalaga ng biodiversity at iba pang mga isyong pangkalusugan. Regional agreements. Okay, ano nga ba ang regional agreement? Ang regional agreement daw ay kasunduan na pinapasok ng mga bansa sa isang particular na relihiyon upang mapabuti ang kanilang ugnayan at pagtulungan. Climate change. Okay, ano nga ba ang pumapasok sa isip natin pag nakakarinig tayo ng climate change? Ang climate change daw ay isang malalim na epekto o kalikasan, ekonomiya at kalusugan ng mga tao, kaya't isang pangunahing isyu sa buong bansa. Biodiversity. Ano nga ba ang biodiversity? Biodiversity, ito ay pinakamahalaga dahil ito ay nagbibigay ng mga benepisyo sa tao tulad ng pagkain, gamot at mga likas na yaman, pati na rin sa kalusugan. Ozone layer protection. Ang ozone layer protection daw ay mahalaga hindi lamang para sa kalusugan ng tao, kundi pati na rin sa kaligtasan ng mga ekosistema at kalikasan.
So, Assalamualaikum. Ako po si Shahana Rahman. I continuing the report of PICIT, report topic. So, Marine and Coastal Protection. So, ang Marine and Coastal Protection ay tungkol sa pagprotekta at pag-aalaga ng mga karagatan at baybayin laban sa polusyon, sobrang pangingisda, pagkasira ng tirahan at epekto ng climate change. Hazardous waste and chemicals. Ang hazardous waste ay mga materyales na delikado o posibleng makasama sa kalusugan ng tao o kalikasan, kasama dito ang mga kemikal na nakakalason, nakakasira, madaling magliyab o reaksyonaryo. Desertification. Ang desertification ay ang proseso kung saan ang matabang lupa ay nagiging disyerto dahil sa tagtuyot, pagputol ng mga puno o maling paraan ng pagsasaka. Wildlife protection. Ang wildlife protection ay ang mga pangangalaga at pagprotekta sa mga hayop, sa kalikasan at kanilang tirahan para mapanatili ang ecological na balanse at maiwasan ang pagkaubos nila. Sustainable development. Ang sustainable development ay paraan ng pagtugon sa kasalukuyang pangangailangan nang hindi sinasakripisyo ang kakayahan ng kasusunod na henerasyon. Natugunan ang kanila, binabalanse nito ang economic growth, pangangalaga sa kalikasan at social well-being.
Good evening everyone, I am Raoul Emundas and this is my topic. Challenges of international environment, policies, treaties, convention, and etc. There are many challenges to international environmental policies and treaties, including prioritizing environmental issue. Environmental issues often need to be prioritized against other important issues such as trade, security, and development. Sa pagbibigay prioridad sa mga isyu sa kapaligiran, kadalasang kailangang unahin ang mga isyu sa kapaligiran laban sa iba pang mahalagang isyu tulad ng kalakalan, seguridad at pag-unlad. Then second is funding and resources. Governments may lack the financial resources and technical expertise to implement environmental policies. So isa rin sa international na challenges is yung pagpondo at mapagkukunan. Maaaring kulang ang mga pamahalaan ng mga mapagkukunang pinansyal at technical na kadalubhasaan upang ipatupad ang mga patakarang pangkalikasan. And then sa next is staffing. Staffing environment agencies may not have enough staff to implement environmental policies. So hindi sa lahat ng agency is may mga kakayahan yung mga staff nila na kayang ipa-implement or panatilihin yung environmental policies. Then next is political support. There may be a lack of political support for environmental goals. Kakulangan din sa suporta ng politika kasi alam mo na, inakurakot yung iba. Kaya minsan, kinukulang din yung suporta ng mga politician or politics sa goal sa environmental goal. Imbis na napupunta sa environment is napupunta sa kanilang mga needs. And sunod is institutional effectiveness. Environmental institutions may be ineffective in implementing and enforcing environmental policies. So sa institutional effectiveness ay maaaring hindi epektibo ang mga institusyong pangkalikasan sa pagpapatupad at pagpapatupad ng patakarang pangkalikasan kasi yan, kagaya nga sa mga political issues na imbis na para sa environment is ginagawa nilang pangkaperahan or yan na yung mga illegal logging. Imbis na panatilin nila yung environment na maganda ay sinisira pa nila lalo. Ambiguity. International treaties. Ambiguity or kalabuan. Ambiguity. International treaties can be ambiguous, which can lead to poor policy compliance. So isa rin sa challenges nila yung kalabuan. Maaring malabo ang mga international na kasunduan na maaring humantong sa hindi magandang pagsunod sa patakaran. Kaya dapat kung gumawa ang mga agencies o government ng mga kasunduan is dapat cleared or maraming makakinig para alam ng lahat. Hindi lang yung isang tao lang yung may alam kasi maaring dyan, imbis na isang tao lang, palipat-lipat na yung istorya, nababago na. Dahil sa pagpapalipat-lipat ng mga istorya na kaya hindi na nagkakaintindihan. Misinformation. Then next, misinformation. Misinformation between key actors can lead to poor policy compliance. So ito na ngayon sinasabing ambiguity kanina or kalabuan. Dahil sa kalabuan, nagiging misinformation na humahantong sa hindi pagsunod ng tamang patakaran. Kasi nga, misinform yung taong dapat gagawa ng batas. Then next is adoption. International environmental laws may not be adopted at the national level. So, yung mga batas sa pangpakalikasan is hindi daw pwedeng pagpatibayin sa high level or gawing parang international na law. Then next is negotiations. Negotiation can be complex and run long hours, which can lead to fatigue and exhaustion. So, ang mga negosasyon ay maaaring maging komplikado at tumatakbo ng mahabang oras na maaaring humantong sa pagkakapagod at pagkakahapo. So dito sa negosasyon is kapag may gisubmit silang law, hindi pa yan sure kung magiging active or not active kasi proven yan siya. Kaya sa pagkuha ng negotiation is patient and understanding ang kailangan. Delegation size. And next is delegation size. Larger delegations like those from developed countries have an advantage in negotiations. So sa delegation size, Ang mas malaking delegasyon tulad ng mga tulad ng mga mula sa mauunlad na bansa ay may kalamangan sa mga negosasyon. Then next is content. The content of the convention may not fit into existing traditional competencies. Ang content o ang nilalaman ng convention ay maaaring hindi magkasya sa mga umiiral na traditional na kakayahan. Then for the last is responsibilities. Responsibilities, it can be difficult to define the responsibilities of departments other than environment, agriculture, forestry, hunting, and fishery. Sa responsibilidad, maaaring mahirap tukuyin ang mga responsibilidad ng mga departamento maliban sa kapaligiran, agrikultura, kagubatan, pangangasaw at pangisda. So isa rin dito sa challenges ng environmental policies is yung mahirap daw tukuyin kung ano talaga yung mga responsibilidad ng mga departamento. Ito na kagaya ng kapaligiran, agrikultura, kagubatan, at pangangaso at pangisdaan. So ito lang po yung aking report. Thank you and wassalam. Good night to all.